Ciao e benvenuti sul lago di Como. It's probably terrible Italian, but hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It is I, AvAngel, and we're here on the beautiful Lake Como in northern Italy. And we're just in the harbour here, actually, at Como itself. And we're taking the caravan Amphibian out for a trip today. I want to do something a little more GA adventure-y. Water to water, into the Alps. Yes, into the Alps. You heard me right. I figured someone's having a wonderful February here in Como, enjoying the very kind of Lombardy-esque Italian February, not too cold. And maybe they fancy going skiing. We're going to head up to St Mortiz in Switzerland for an amphibian skiing trip. Thankfully, we're not the one actually doing the skiing, not in this. At least that's the hope. Right, I'm going to have to get out of here because... let's pretend I'm standing on the floats because I need to pull the pin. That's news. Okay, let's put that down. Yeah, this should be done on the dock side, not in the water, but Flight Sim wants to be Flight Sim for us today, so we're going to have to work with that. Do you want to come off there? Yes, you do. The question is my gear down? Is it going to leave the chocks in place? The gear is down, which means there are things to click and I can't tell how to do it. This is something I didn't really think about, I don't think. But we'll try and make it work either way. And we should be okay. So it should be a simple matter of turning our power on and batteries, which should be... Let's get rid of this. Down here. So battery power on. Starter is there. So we're going to have to go to our batteries to on. Fuel boost is on. We want our starter to start. Bus to start. Ignition to on. Let's make sure everything is where it needs to be. Fuel's on. And as the engine starts to come alive, it should be a matter of bing bang, the spinny thing goes burr, and we're operational here. Oh, things are going right so far. That's a good start. Let's make sure that gear is retracted, shall we? Things are on the water. Okay, avionics and everything else coming on for us now. Once it decides it wants to. Okay, that can go off. To normal. And to starter to off. Excellent. Okay, and there's a good there. Ignition to normal. Okay, we're operational. We're started. We're ready to rock and roll. Now, keeping our prop back here so it's not causing us any major trouble for today. Get my head operational. Harbour entrance is here, so we're going to get ourselves ready to taxi out. And get ourselves clear of this area. Right, water rudder down. We'll want that. We'll give it a little bit of our...
Here's up for water landing. Test. Okay. Here's up for water
Okay.
landing. Here's up for water landing.
Perfect, we're coming out of here.
Here's up for water landing.
I'm aware the gear's up for water landing. Thank you, darling.
Here's up for water landing.
It is indeed up.
Here's up for water landing.
You're going to really annoy me, aren't you?
Here's up for water landing.
Shut up, shut up. I'm on the water, that's kind of the obvious part of this. Okay, we're taking off towards the north, just out of Como Harbour. And this is a lot skippier than a lot of the float planes I've tried in the sim so far. Try and keep her from porpoising too hard, but she's already kind of bouncing on the nose there. Oh, and she wanted off the water as it was. So, that's not a good start in terms of takeoff. It's definitely on the springier side. Let's pull the flaps in. There we go. And beautiful Lake Como. Not quite as stunning as it is during the summer when everything's green on the mountains alongside here and everything's super shiny and there's that desaturated colour tone that Lombardy tends to get at this time of year. Or that time of year, I should say. Whereas now it's quite soggy and grey and kind of brownish. More than the summery brown, which is more of a feeling. I'm pretty sure I've talked about Lake Como before for you guys, but once we get ourselves up here a little bit more altitude, I'll do a little bit of a geography lesson for you, as I know you guys like that so much. Pull out power here. Get ourselves established where we want to be. No problem there. Okay, so Lake Como, as I mentioned, is a glacial lake, which is why you get these very steep sides. It looks a lot like the the fjords into the areas of Scandinavia. You'll see, and British Columbia, etc. Let's go external so you can have a look around here. Whilst you know what, we should have brought those in before taking off. That's a big whoopsie. Flying float planes, you don't have the water rudders still down. So yes, similar look to the the chocks are still there. You can't actually remove them if you start on water, so that's fantastically accurate. Thank you, Sobo. Downside to starting on water. But like I said, it is 146 square kilometers, which is 56 square miles. The third largest lake in Italy after Lake Garda and Maggiore. And it's over 400 meters deep, which is 1,300 feet deep at its deepest point. Fifth deepest lake in Europe. And, most importantly, as I mentioned, fjords, the deepest outside of Norway. The very bottom of the lake is actually 227 meters below sea level, which is pretty impressive there. So, of course, it does have like a Y shape. You can see it on our map here. In fact, I'll zoom out for you now. So that's Lake Lombardy over there, and we have Lake Como here. So it's this Y shape here. Como is down there. The very tip is up there. And today we're flying up into the Alps here to St Mortiz. A nice, simple journey for us today. So yes, you'll find Bellagio is actually going to be up on our side here, I believe. This is Bellagio. And I think that is, yeah, the Alps just up ahead of us in the distance. Now, St Moritz is a ski resort in, or St Mortiz is a ski resort in Switzerland. It is the south of Switzerland, in the Italian-speaking portion of it. And it is, I think it's the seat of the particular region. Either that's a tree. I don't like trees. Trees are bad for me. It's on the Albula Alps, I believe it is. Sorry, below Pisnea, which is 3,000 meter peak, and it's overlooking the flat glacial valley of the upper. Is it the Engadine? An eponymous. Well, there you go. And Lake St Mortiz, which is where we'll be landing today, which makes our life a lot easier. It did host the Winter Olympics, by the way, in 1928 and 1948. So, better years. Let's put it that way. Enough of that, but we are going to enjoy our ride today. Even if we have got flipping chocks floating in midair, because the plane didn't want to get rid of them. Joy, oh joy. Here's that Y we mentioned on Lake Como, of course. Go into that now. And that will be, of course, splitting us off as we head towards the north. We can put our head back on and we can enjoy the journey as we fly north. It's not a particularly long flight today. In fact, we're actually going to gain altitude to make this a little bit easier on ourselves, and you'll get a better view as we do that. But as it stands, a fairly simple trip, which if you want to go from Como to St Moritz, there aren't worse ways, because there isn't an airport in Como itself, so a float plane out of the harbour, which there are quite a lot of float planes at Como and Lake Como itself, more than possible. So a float plane from there to St Moritz, probably flight that happens. Always a nice option, of course. And it excused me to fly the Caravan for the first time in 2024, something I haven't done yet. Make sure the aircraft is fully set to where we need it to be. Everything is correct as it should be. The firewall shut off, fuel shut off valves. Manual gear extension. Refamiliarizing myself with the aircraft. Ah, that is R. We need those released. And I wonder if getting the parking brake. Nope, they're still there. We still have our chocks with us here, making our life wonderful and easy. A little more power here, so we're going to try and climb up to our head. leaving the lake behind on our left-hand side here. The Alps is where St Mortiz is on the southern side of. Founded in the Bronze Age originally. In fact, there's a lot of Bronze Age and other Neolithic history existing in the whole Alpine region, as it was one of the pieces that really had quite a lot of settlement from early human civilization coming north from the Mediterranean region, so it's quite cool to consider that sometimes. But his first mentions in early writing, which are Christian writing, was between about 1130 to 1140, in that sort of period. There's a village named after St Mortiz, an early Christian saint from southern Egypt, who was said to have been martyred in the 3rd century by Maximilian in Switzerland while serving as the leader of the Theban Legion. So there you go. Pilgrims have travelled there for quite a while, and of course pilgrims now travel there for snow. Okay, got the Alps starting to jump up ahead of us here. Might have to start thinking about our navigation routes, because this is about to get more pointy than we're used to. And the air's getting a little choppier up here. Make sure I'm up on the controls and on the rudder pedals especially. Downside of having massive whopping floats like the Caravan is she can be a little bit wind catchy, which makes one's life easier. Our plan today is head up past Ceviena, up towards Pontogno, I'm probably mispronouncing those, then Lobia, Mayora, and to St Moritz itself, up the valley. So it should be a relatively straightforward run, if I'm not incorrect horribly. Now we're tracking that way, so I think I need to track this way to actually follow the route I planned, rather than the direct route. So we'll do just that. We might just be able to cut across there. I think we're going to have plenty of altitude to clear this peak. That should be fine for us. Save us a little bit of time. Don't want to push the turboprop too hard, but I'd like to make sure I can comfortably clear this. Coming through 7,000. Not the highest Alps here, but they're definitely going to be interesting enough. The peak near St Mortiz is just about 9,000, so we should be okay. Well, 10,000 meters, or feet, sorry. 3,000 meters. Yep, we're clear enough here. And a view out over the Alps. A lake there. Probably a bit too small for us to fit into, but we'll cut across the valley now. And you'll see the grand expanse ahead of us. I will say, Alpine flying is a lot better in 24. Now we have the rock face generation being a thing, because it makes those areas which would have been stretched texture look so much better. Now we have that. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at the chocks that are sticking around here. I should be able to clear those features. And yes, that is the very tip there of Lake Como here. Normally we'd be turning this way and coming down this valley towards some of our trips towards the actual border with Switzerland, and some of the airports have actually landed at along this valley. In fact, we see them down there. I know there's one further along there. There's also the train station down there, heading towards the biggest land tunnel in Europe. And I've forgotten the name. It's completely blanked me, so I'm looking it up again. And that's the Norway, so that's the wrong one. Which one is it? It's the Gotthard? Gotthard, that's it. Gotthard base tunnel. I knew it. I remembered it. I had it. It was in my mind. And it's a thing. But it goes between Erstfeld and Bodio in Switzerland. 57 kilometers long. Eat that, Americans. 57 kilometers of tunnel under the Alps. It is the longest railway tunnel in the world. core of the new Transalpine Railway axis, the Alp Transit, between, it's a single track high-speed rail tunnel between Ersfeld and Bodio in Switzerland. So covering a whole gap of that area. In fact, let's pop this up and I can show you on the tablet, it's a little bit easier to show you. It's kind of ballpark covering, and this is not exact positioning, so I warn you now. Basically, this distance is what it's covering. Yeah. It's going under this, the Gotthard Massif. So it's under there, covering a huge distance through the mountains. Let's pull some facts up on that one so you can enjoy some stats whilst we talk. But like I mentioned, it opened in 2016, full service the next year, 57.09 kilometers, 35 miles for the users who use Freedom fractions. And it replaced the original Gotthard Tunnel and the Gotthard Road Tunnel, obviously not being quite as used since that became a thing. But obviously Gotthard Road Tunnel is still very much used by road traffic in the area. And it is a single railway tunnel, rather than it being multiple tube tunnels together. So trains are alternate timed, I believe. And yeah, you go from Luzerne up to Bellinzona. And it's Lake Lucerne, not Lombardy, as I said earlier. I was very wrong. Used by freight and high-speed rail. So you can do both. Again, America, you can do both. Looks like somebody else on our map is heading into our airport there. Yeah, somebody else just passing over St Mortiz. Wow. This is pretty up here. Ooh, I'm feeling very cold already up in the Alps. I think we took the right direction going this slightly shorter route. But it feels very weird flying over mountains in a float plane, and I'm going to land again. Water to water. No wheeled landings of the entire trip. Through the Alps. Go figure. It's very much a me journey, isn't it? There's a bit of chop up here, but not too bad. Should be okay here. Having the Gotthard Tunnel, of course, there were other previous rail tunnels in the area. They obviously had to do shorter routes, of course, but it cuts down the run from somewhere to like Zurich and Milan by over an hour. So Zurich to Lugano to Milan, and that route takes an hour less thanks to having the new Gotthard Tunnel, which is a major improvement. And that's a fairly trafficked corridor, of course, going between a major centre of Switzerland and a major centre of northern Italy. A lot of white ahead of us, hard to see a lot of things. We're okay so far. Power's looking good right now. The aircraft is in good condition. Okay, good there. Clear this ridgeline and we should be pretty safe. I want to give it a bit of a wide berth. I have noticed 24 is definitely a bit more aggressive when it comes to up and down drafts. We discovered that in Papua New Guinea, and I'd rather not slam a float plane into the Alps. That'd be hard to explain. That is so pretty. Yeah, the rock face generation is a massive difference when it comes to 24 and 20. It's a small feature. In the grand scheme of things, it looks quite insignificant, but to me, that's a major feature. It gives us a huge, huge visual advantage in these areas that often really struggled unless they had very good satellite data. Now you have this AI interpretation of where it should be putting rock, and in general it's pretty good. But it means, whilst there are some derps like the jagged line you can see in the rock face there, there is a good general appearance of these structures and surfaces, meaning that we have prettier terrain out here in the wild, which is wonderful to have. What is outside for us here? Glaciers. God, this is actually stunning. Oh, that would be a gorgeous lake to land on, wouldn't it? Those chalks are hilarious. I can't even. That's good for us there. That's the border we're coming over now, I believe. Yep, that'll be the border to Switzerland. Swiss airspace now. And not far on, of course. Valley to our left. A lot of altitude to play with. Nothing too bad for us terrain-wise. Clouds are pretty mediocre. We'll pull our power out a little bit here. We're not super worried about getting there super fast, but we also don't want to run out the engine. Yeah, imagine this. A couple of friends loading up your skis in Como, Italy. Loading up the skis into the float plane. Loading up your ski suits, your winter gear. Hopping in the caravan. Taking off from beautiful Lombardy countryside. Bright February day. And heading up to St Mortiz in the Swiss Alps to go skiing. In a winter wonderland. Oh, the life to have that much money and time. To party like the rich of Europe. Ah, how I would love to be that wealthy. But beggars can't be choosers. Maybe when my book sells, that'll be me. Maybe I shall villa on Lake Como. And I shall write espionage thrillers with a lake view out over the water. I'll have my 206 amphibian parked up on the lake, tied up at the little jetty, right at the end of the garden. And I will fly up into the Alps to go skiing. Ah, that'd be a delight. That would be a delight. I would very much enjoy that. Now, I believe the valley down there is the valley. It is the valley, in fact, that leads us up to St Mortiz. So we're not too far off that track now. A couple of minutes out, I think, here, judging by this. What's it going to tell me over here? 2 minutes, no time at all. So we're going to actually want to start powering down here. Working out what we're doing descent-wise. Mountains everywhere. So we're in a valley parallel, so we should be into the main valley over there to the left. We'll do that and we'll drop down some altitude here. Going back towards idle. Nope, not beta, not beta. Keep that prop in normal range, thank you. My throttle quadrant is not perfectly set to meet the caravan's beta range. I think I've just about got it to neutral here. Okay. Now the landing was about what I expected from 2020 float planes, and unfortunately it seems in many cases the float planes suck a lot more than the flying boats do. A lot of speed there. I'm aware. Pulling the nose up now. Pulling the nose up. Yep, thank you. Oh, there's an airport there. That's fortunate. But we want to go direct. We want to go direct, don't we? So it's going to be this one down here, I think. That's not too bad. We can manage that just fine. Although float flying at what's going to be about 8,000 feet is going to be fun. Okay, I'm going to use beta now. What am I if not a cheaty bush pilot? The town of St Mortiz, there on the slopes. Beautiful. I would try and pronounce some of the Swiss German, but Swiss German is like regular German with brain damage. It is a whole different language. I've watched some comedy and jokes and things from Swiss German and it's almost unintelligible for me. I'm just about the point now where I can understand watching German videos, but Swiss German has me like, huh? Was bitte? Okay, let's get turned around and get ready for the lake. That's going to be a bit of a drop in there, but it seems to rise up all around it, so it's going to make our life a little bit more fun. Could I land over there? Yes, I could. Probably where all the private jets coming into St Mortiz land. You know, like normal rich people. But we're not normal rich people, we're bush pilot rich people. This is me getting rich off my spy novels. Okay.
Here's up for water landing.
I'm aware. You are not going to yell at me this entire... Sod off. Is that the off switch? Good. Okay, let's do this monkey, shall we? Okay, gear is confirmed up. Water orders are confirmed up. Pull it back a little bit more.
500.
Prop, condition, throttle, gear, confirmed again up. Confirming visually up, lights are off. Okay, boy. This is going to be a get it down and stop job. Okay, let's make sure we're doing this entirely correctly. That's a little bit of a skip. I don't like that. Let's make sure we put it down again. Definitely coming way too fast here. Nope, that ain't happening. Flaps coming up, going around. Power is good, power is good. Speed is climbing. At expected rate, will maintain departure angle. Clear on that side. Flaps fully retracted. And we're good. I was too fast, I was too steep, and I was not bleeding that speed off whatsoever. That was a really bad attempt. I might come in, turn around here and do this angle because I can make a lower approach. I don't think I was quite aware of how steep that approach angle was. Okay, hold up power. I should coordinate this thing. Bring that power back now as we come out of the turn. That's really close. I don't like that slightest. Flaps are down. Airspeed's still high. Let's reduce that, shall we? Let's reduce that a little bit, shall we? This is not appropriate flying. That's a building. Watch out for the building. Excuse me, expensive skiers. Let's kick her straight, shall we? Oh, yeah, this doesn't land particularly nicely. I'm not stalling, I'm on the water. Let's get those up. Okay, we're coming to a stop. Let's bring it back to idle. Those suckers down. Oh god. That's too close to the shore. Come on. No. I have to keep turning in hopes it'll turn. It will. Water friction in this 24 is still not great, I'll admit. Okay. Yeah, no. Partly awful flying by me. Partly the float planes just don't feel right in the sim. I've seen some good ones in terms of add-ons. The CAS J3 is fantastic. The 206 by Sal is pretty good. So is his 170. There's a couple of other add-on float planes that are pretty decent. The seaplanes from Asobo have always been fantastic. Seaplanes in 2020 were fantastic, so flying boats, I should say, specifically. But when it comes to actual amphibians in this sim, they don't behave very nicely. And it could be that straight float aircraft actually do better than amphibians. I think it could maybe be trying to decide between what's water and what's its real contacts. It's got two sets of contacts in there. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know. But I do know that actual seaplanes, even retractable amphibian seaplanes, do a lot better. I'm in reverse here. Are you not going for reverse? Is this not an option for us today? Oh, you just won't let me actually gauge it normally. That's fun. So I didn't actually use a reverse on that approach because you didn't let me. I see. I see how it is. Go taxiing out here. Come on, Piggy. Out we get. Oh, now it's decided the chocks exist. Right. Oh, sometimes I hate this sim, sometimes I love it. But I always curse at it, whether I want to or not. Let's make sure everything's shut down here if we get out of the blipping aeroplane. Where it's finally decided those things actually apply. Oh, now you care about the chocks. I see. Well, here we are on the shores of... What even is this one? Is it actually called St Mortiz Lake? Lake St Mortiz. There we go. Lake St Mortiz in our caravan. After flying this entire way from Lake Como with the chocks still applied, because they didn't fall off. And a combination of awful airmanship and the amphibians in this sim. Yeah, we had a good time. You got to see some pretty mountains, most importantly. Tune in next time for more AvAngel Can't Do Anything Right. Thanks for watching. Bye. Time to go skiing. This will be much easier for me. I can't do anything wrong. It's not like I broke my back skiing once. Yeah, that happened.